It was a sunny morning in her neighborhood, and Anna woke up to the first rays of light coming through the window. The smell of fresh coffee filled the house, a routine she loved. With a smile on her face, she got out of bed and went to the kitchen, where she found Carlos, her husband, already preparing breakfast. He greeted her with a soft kiss on the cheek. "Good morning, love. Ready for another productive day?" Carlos asked as he stirred the pots. Anna smiled. "Always, especially today. I have a meeting with the community members about the library. I can't wait." Carlos knew how much this project meant to her. Anna had always had a deep love for reading and education, and her dream of opening a community library was a way to share that passion with the children in her neighborhood. She believed that each book could open up a world of possibilities. After breakfast, Anna helped the children, Julia and Lucas, get ready for school. She made sure to listen to their stories from the previous day, laughing at Lucas's antics and admiring Julia's artistic achievements. Family was her safe haven, and these moments were the most precious. "Mom, will you be back in time to help me with my artwork?" Julia asked, her eyes curious. "Of course, dear. As soon as I get back, I'll help you create something amazing," Anna promised, winking. With the kids at school and the household chores done, Anna said goodbye to Carlos and headed out to her day job. She was excited, full of hope, imagining how the library could change lives, especially in a neighborhood where opportunities were limited. When Anna arrived at the designer store where she was temporarily working, she was greeted with a smile from the manager, who was always excited about the team's efforts. The hours passed quickly as Anna served customers, organized products, and shared her ideas about the library with colleagues who also dreamed of making a difference in the community. However, the friendly atmosphere in the store soon dissipated. During a sale, a grumpy customer walked in and began to look at Anna suspiciously. She felt his heavy gaze, but ignored it, focusing on helping other customers. Little did she know that this encounter would drastically change her life. When Anna approached the customer to ask if he needed anything, he looked at her with disdain. "Are you sure you're here to work?" he snapped, and the tone of his voice left Anna perplexed. "Excuse me?" Anna replied, confused. "You know you shouldn't be here, don't you? You don't belong here." The accusation was like an arrow, and Anna's heart raced. This was the first time anyone had challenged her like that in an environment where she felt accepted. The customer's words echoed, creating a wave of discomfort. Anna tried to remain calm, but a growing tension was forming in the store, and the feeling that everything was about to change began to take hold of her. Anna tried to compose herself in the face of the customer who was verbally attacking her. The discomfort in the store grew, and other customers began to walk away, murmuring. She felt her face heat up as she tried to maintain her composure. "Sorry, but I'm here to help," Anna replied, trying to smooth the situation over. "What would you like to see?" The man was unfazed and continued to attack her. "You shouldn't be here. Everyone knows that people like you have no place in a store like this." His sharp words echoed like a cruel echo. Anna looked around, noticing that some people were listening, others just watching. Her heart was beating fast, a mixture of indignation and despair forming in her chest. The atmosphere that had previously been welcoming was now filled with tension and embarrassment. "I'm an employee and I'm here to help the store's customers," insisted Anna, trying to establish herself at the moment. The customer, however, had already decided that she was to blame for his frustration. He raised his voice, attracting more attention. "I'm calling the police. I can't believe they're allowing a thief to work here." The words, "call the police," resounded like thunder. Anna felt the ground beneath her feet give way. What was supposed to be a normal day at work quickly turned into a nightmare. She knew that as a black woman, the situation could be even more complicated. Distrust and prejudice surrounded her like shadows. Soon the police arrived, and the atmosphere in the store became heavy. Anna felt the pressure of their gazes, each one carrying a story, a judgment. She tried to explain the situation, but words seemed to fail her when she needed them most. "I didn't steal anything. This is a misunderstanding," Anna screamed, feeling helpless. The police officer looked at her skeptically, and frustration consumed her. Tears began to form in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Meanwhile, the customer who had accused her smiled, pleased with the mess he had caused. Anna wondered how anyone could be so cruel, and the injustice of the situation hurt her deeply. It wasn't just a matter of theft. It was her dignity that was at stake. The store manager, who had remained silent until then, finally spoke up. Anna is an exemplary employee. We have no reason to believe she would do something like this. Her voice was firm, but the words sounded hollow amidst the growing suspicion. The officers began asking questions, and Anna tried to remain calm, explaining what had happened. But each answer seemed to fade into the officer's incredulity. The client, satisfied with his role as the protagonist in the situation, continued to repeat his accusations, as if seeking validation. "We're going to take you to the police station to clarify the facts," said one of the police officers, while Anna felt her world fall apart. The thought of being taken away on suspicion of theft was unbearable. With every step towards the exit of the store, Anna felt her heart shatter. People who had once respected her now looked at her with eyes of contempt and doubt. A feeling of betrayal enveloped her, mixed with a deep pain. As she was taken away, she remembered the children and how their innocent faces would be dealing with the consequences of this humiliation. What would the community think of her? How would she explain this to her children? That night, as she sat at the police station, a sense of despair washed over her. The cold of the place seemed to penetrate her bones, but the humiliation and fear were even colder. She looked out the window at the city outside and realized that life as she knew it was about to change forever. The following days were a real torment for Anna. As soon as she was released from the police station, the reality of what had happened began to set in heavily and relentlessly. The community, which had previously welcomed her, now looked at her with a mixture of contempt and distrust. Gossips spread like wildfire, and social media was flooded with malicious comments and unfounded accusations. Anna felt like a ghost in her own life. As she took the children to school, she noticed curious looks and finger-pointing. Julia and Lucas's carefree laughter was now drowned out by the murmurs and malicious laughter of other children. The once proud and confident mother now found herself in a nightmare, struggling to maintain her dignity. At school, the children faced immense pressure. Lucas, just 8 years old, came home with tears in his eyes, holding a drawing he had made at school. "Mom, why do they say you're a thief? I know it's not true." His voice was full of confusion and pain. Anna felt her heart break into 1,000 pieces. "I know, my love. What happened was a big misunderstanding. Some people don't understand that what matters are our actions and who we are inside, and not what they seem to think." She tried to comfort him, but her words sounded empty. As the days passed, the rejection intensified. The woman who had once been invited to neighborhood meetings and praised for her contributions was now shunned. At community gatherings, conversations would die down when she approached, and the lack of support made her feel increasingly isolated. One afternoon, Anna decided to visit the store where she worked, even though she knew it would be painful. She wanted to find some kind of normality, maybe even find a vestige of the respect she once had. When she walked in, the atmosphere was heavy. The employees greeted her with forced smiles, and the manager's gaze averted, as if she were trying to ignore the situation. "Hi, Anna. How are you?" the manager asked, but the lack of sincerity in her voice was palpable. "I'm trying to understand what happened," Anna replied, her voice wavering. "I'd like to go back to work." The manager hesitated. Well, the store is going through a difficult time. You understand, right? People are nervous, and we need to take care of the store's image. It wouldn't be the best time for you to come back." The words cut like a blade. Anna walked out of the store feeling empty, as if the life had been sucked out of her. What should have been a place of work was now a constant reminder of her humiliation. That night, as she sat at the dinner table with her family, the silence was deafening. Carlos tried to find words of comfort, but he was also struggling to understand the gravity of the situation. Anna looked into his eyes and saw concern and sadness, a reflection of what she felt. "I can't let this define me, Carlos. I need to find a way to move past this." His voice was firm, but the vulnerability shone through. Carlos nodded, his gaze steady. "I'll be by your side, Anna. We'll get through this together." That night was marked by a mix of tears and hope. Anna knew that, despite the difficulties, She needed to fight for her dignity and the future of her children. She could not allow injustice to defeat her. So, with a heavy but determined heart, Anna began to plan what to do next. She decided that if she could, she would use her painful experience to help others understand the impact of prejudice and injustice. She didn't know how, but she was determined to do it. As she thought about her plans, an idea came to her: to create a community outreach and awareness program, something that would help break down stereotypes and foster empathy. This initiative would become a way for her to rise up, a light in the darkness that surrounded her. Anna felt a spark of hope resurface, and for the first time since the incident, she glimpsed a possibility for change. The idea of creating a support and awareness program became a light bulb for Anna. Over the next few days, she began to draft a plan, detailing how she could address issues of prejudice and discrimination in her community. The name Voices of Hope emerged as a symbol of what she wanted to build. Anna knew it wouldn't be easy, but the urgency of her mission kept her motivated. As soon as the idea began to take shape, she reached out to people she could help. After talking to friends and family, she managed to gather a small group of like-minded individuals. They were individuals from different backgrounds, all united by the belief that they could make a difference. In the meetings that followed, Anna felt invigorated. The group's enthusiasm was contagious, and everyone was willing to share their experiences and knowledge. Together, they began to create workshops, lectures, and activities that would explore topics such as racism, empathy, and the importance of solidarity. Each meeting became a safe space for sharing stories and personal growth. As she worked on this new venture, Anna realized that she was indeed healing. The emotional wounds from the humiliation were still there, but her passion for creating something positive helped ease the pain. The support of the group became a fundamental pillar in her recovery. Over time, the community began to take notice of the new initiative. People of all ages began to join the movement. Anna and her group organized a launch event for Voices of Hope at a local park, where everyone was invited to attend. They planned activities, lectures, and even an art performance to bring the message of empathy and unity to life. On the day of the event, the sun was shining brightly, and the atmosphere was filled with anticipation. Anna looked around, observing the crowd that had gathered. The faces that had previously avoided her were now smiling, excited to hear about what they were about to experience. A mix of nervousness and excitement washed over her. During the opening, Anna took the stage, her heart racing. As she looked out at the audience, she felt the support of her team in the background, ready to help her. With a firm voice, she began to share her story, not only about the humiliation she had suffered, but about the importance of transforming painful experiences into learning opportunities. "We need to listen to each other," Anna said, her voice echoing through the park. "We need to recognize that prejudice can exist within us, and that change begins when we decide to do something about it." As Anna spoke, she saw knowing looks in the audience. Some people were moved, and others nodded, reflecting on their own experiences. The connection she was forming was palpable, and for the first time since the incident, Anna felt completely seen and heard. The event continued with a series of interactive activities, and participation was intense. People engaged in open discussions, shared their stories, and connected in a genuine way. The energy in the air was electric, and Anna felt hope blossom. By the end of the day, as people were leaving, Anna realized she had created something much bigger than herself. Voices of Hope was not just a program. It was a movement, a community united by the desire for change. She felt she had become a catalyst for change, and that brought her deep comfort. Carlos stood beside her, watching her accomplish what she had accomplished. "You did something incredible today, Anna. I'm so proud of you," he said, holding her hand. His love and support were a powerful reminder that even in the midst of adversity, she was not alone. Anna smiled, her heart filled with gratitude. "This is just the beginning, Carlos. I want to keep going. I want more people to hear our voices and join us. We need to create a better future." The determination in her eyes reflected the new purpose she had found amidst her pain. And so, as the community began to rally around her mission, Anna realized that her journey to healing was just beginning. After the successful launch event, the Voices of Hope initiative quickly gained traction in the community. Anna's group met regularly, planning new activities and workshops, and membership grew each week. Word of mouth brought in new participants, and the diversity of stories and experiences enriched the discussions. Anna was moved to find that so many people were willing to share their own experiences of discrimination and prejudice. The safe space they created not only allowed people to express themselves, but also fostered a deeper understanding of the pain that prejudice can cause. Each story shared was a seed for change, and with each encounter, the voices of the oppressed began to resonate louder. One of the workshops focused on empowerment, where participants were invited to discuss their own narratives and how these stories shaped their identities. Anna was surprised to hear from people who had never felt comfortable discussing their experiences before. A young woman named Lidisha, who was from an immigrant family, shared how she had dealt with racism and xenophobia throughout her life. "I always felt like I needed to hide who I am to fit in," Lidisha confessed, her voice shaking. "But now I realize that being different is a strength, not a weakness." Letitia's words echoed around the room and inspired others to open their hearts. Anna noticed that the group dynamic was changing. There was a sense of solidarity that hadn't existed before. People were coming together, creating bonds that transcended experiences of discrimination. During one of these meetings, a local resident introduced himself. His name was Andrew, and he was a successful businessman in the town. He had heard about Voices of Hope and offered to help in any way he could. "I believe we can make a bigger difference if we can join forces with local businesses," he said, his voice strong and confident. Andre's proposal was met with enthusiasm. Anna and the group discussed ways to collaborate with local businesses to create events that promoted diversity and respect. The idea of creating a community fair where local businesses could showcase their products while also engaging in discussions about inclusion and respect quickly gained traction. Over the next few months, Anna worked tirelessly to organize the fair. She and her group reached out to local business owners, artists, and musicians, all of whom were eager to contribute to the cause. The meetings were vibrant, full of energy and collaboration, and Anna could see that change was truly happening. The day of the fair finally arrived, and Anna was overjoyed. The streets were decorated with colorful flags and posters promoting diversity and inclusion. The stalls were filled with local produce, and there were artistic performances celebrating the cultures of different groups. Anna was thrilled to see how many people showed up, including people who had looked down on her months before. The fair became a melting pot of cultures, and conversations flowed between people as they explored the booths. During one of the event's keynotes, Anna took the stage again. This time, she was not nervous. She looked out at the crowd and saw smiling faces, eager to hear her message. "Today we are here to celebrate who we are and what we can achieve together," she began, feeling the energy of the audience. "We need to understand that all of us, regardless of our color, background, or history, deserve respect and dignity. Each of us has a voice that matters." As she spoke, Anna saw tears in some people's eyes. The message was resonating. There was a sense of unity, a recognition that the fight against prejudice was not just hers, but everyone's. The fair ended with a moving performance, where many people came together to sing a song about love and acceptance. Anna was deeply moved as she watched the community rally around the message she had worked so hard to promote. At the end of the day, as the lights began to dim and people began to disperse, Anna and her group gathered to celebrate the success of the event. The laughter and hugs were heartfelt, and the sense of community was stronger than ever. The transformation they had begun was just beginning. As Anna gazed up at the starry sky, she felt a surge of gratitude. She knew there was still much to do, but the journey she had embarked on had taken her to a place she could never have imagined. The joy of the fair was an important milestone, but Anna knew the challenges were far from over. The goodwill and energy of the event brought a new sense of hope, but it also attracted the attention of people who were against the change she was promoting. A few days after the fair, as Anna and her group met to discuss their next steps, an unexpected incident shook the community. A mural they had painted, celebrating diversity and unity, was vandalized with hateful messages. The scene left Anna and her colleagues in shock. The act of vandalism was not only an attack on art, but a clear demonstration that there were still many who opposed the progress they were trying to make. The group gathered to discuss the situation. Anna felt a mixture of anger and sadness. "We can't let this stop us," she said, trying to remain determined. "We need to show that love and inclusion are more powerful than hate." The meeting turned into a heated debate. Some people were concerned about safety and suggested that perhaps they should stop work until the situation calmed down. Others, however, argued that it was precisely the time to step up efforts. Anna sided with those who wanted to move forward. "If we back down now, we will be giving power to those who want to silence us. We need to be stronger and more visible than ever. This is the time to show that we are not afraid," she said, her gaze firm and resolute. The decision was made. The group would mobilize to restore the mural and organize a peaceful demonstration against intolerance. Over the following weeks, the meetings became more frequent and the mobilization gained momentum. Anna and her group joined forces with other local organizations and called on the community to demonstrate. On the day of the protest, the mood was charged with emotion. People gathered in a local park, holding signs and shouting slogans. Anna watched with pride as a movement grew. She knew the fight would not be easy, but the strength of the community inspired her. As the demonstration was taking place, some people approached to oppose the protest. The atmosphere became tense, and Anna realized that the situation could quickly escalate. The group opposing the protest began shouting hateful words, but instead of being intimidated, Anna remembered her previous words. "We all have a voice," she shouted, causing the crowd to quiet down and listen. "We are here to celebrate diversity and respect. Hate has no place in our community." The crowd responded with cheers and applause. The energy of the demonstration grew, and Anna saw more people joining in, many of them carrying flowers and flags that symbolized love and acceptance. It was a powerful testament to what they were fighting to achieve. However, the opposing group did not back down easily. One man, visibly agitated, began to confront Anna directly, making aggressive and provocative comments. Anna's heart raced, but she took a deep breath, remembering the greater purpose of the demonstration. "What you're doing here is part of the problem," she said, trying to remain calm. "We're here to promote love and unity, not to discuss hate." Tensions continued to rise, but the police arrived to control the situation. Anna saw that the demonstration was beginning to break up, and a feeling of frustration washed over her. However, instead of giving up, she used the moment to speak to the crowd. "What we are doing here is important. Love and inclusion are more powerful than any message of hate. We must continue to fight for a future where everyone feels safe and valued." The crowd responded with shouts of support, and as the demonstration continued, Anna felt that the fight was just beginning. She realized that although there was resistance, there was also a growing force of solidarity. As the day drew to a close, Anna looked back at the group she had formed. They were more united than ever, and their determination was palpable. The incident had only reinforced their conviction that they needed to continue their fight, not just for their own community, but for all the voices that had yet to be heard. Anna felt a surge of hope as she watched the sunset. The road ahead was filled with challenges, but she knew that together, the voices of her community could make a difference. After the tumultuous demonstration, Anna realized that the fight against prejudice could not be fought alone. The following weeks were dedicated to strengthening ties with other organizations and groups fighting for social justice. During a meeting with representatives of different communities, Anna felt a spirit of solidarity that deeply inspired her. The first meeting was filled with anticipation and nervousness. Anna introduced herself, explaining her vision for Voices of Hope and how they could join forces. Hearing stories from other communities, Anna felt even more connected to the cause. It was heartwarming to realize that everyone was facing similar challenges and that together they could be stronger. One of the leaders present, Mariana, was an indigenous woman who had fought against discrimination in her own community. "We know what it's like to be marginalized," she said with a firmness that made everyone pay attention. "It's time to come together and show that we are more than our differences." Anna felt a chill run down her spine. This was exactly what she had wanted, to create a support network. At the end of the meeting, they decided to organize a joint event where each group could share their stories and experiences, fostering empathy and mutual understanding. Planning the event brought new energy to Anna's group. The idea was that, instead of a one-off event, they would create a series of activities that embraced different voices and cultures. The idea was transformative: to create a festival that celebrated diversity and promoted inclusion. The meetings became more frequent and lively, with each organization contributing ideas and resources. Anna and Mariana worked side by side, exchanging ideas and making connections between communities. The festival, which they called United in Diversity, became a symbol of what they were trying to achieve. As preparations progressed, Anna noticed that the mood in the community was changing. As word spread about the event, she began to receive messages of support from people outside her immediate circle. Messages of encouragement and promises to attend came from all sides. Excitement grew, and the idea that change was possible began to take shape. The day of the festival finally arrived, and Anna woke up with a mixture of anxiety and excitement. The tents were set up, the performances were rehearsed, and the community was gathered in the Central Park. The atmosphere was vibrant with energy, and Anna saw hopeful faces all around her. The festival began with a musical performance, and Anna was in the audience, watching people dance and have fun. Musicians from different backgrounds took the stage, and each performance reflected the rich cultural tapestry of the community. Anna felt tears streaming down her face as she realized the magnitude of what they had created. But what moved her most were the stories being shared. Each tent presented unique narratives, from the struggles of refugees to the experiences of LGBTQIA+ people. Anna walked from tent to tent, listening intently and participating in the conversations. It was as if the community was coming together with one heart, one purpose. At one of the booths, a young artist displayed his paintings, which depicted the daily lives of minorities. He explained that art was his way of expressing the pain and struggle of his community. Anna encouraged him to share his story on the main stage, and he hesitated, but after much insistence, he agreed. "I'm nervous," he confessed, holding his paintbrush like a microphone, "but I need my voice to be heard." When the young man took the stage, the crowd fell silent. With a courage that few could muster, he began to speak about his experiences and the importance of expressing his art. At the end, his performance was met with a thunderous ovation, and Anna saw the joy in his eyes, knowing that his voice had been heard. The festival culminated with a roundtable discussion, where everyone was invited to share their experiences and learnings. Anna felt a sense of belonging and accomplishment. Voices that had previously been silenced now echoed loud and clear. At the end of the day, as the sun set, Anna looked at the group that had formed around her. There was a sense of community she had never seen before, a unity that transcended differences. The fight they had begun was just beginning, but the strength they found together was unshakable. Anna realized that change would not come through actions alone, but also through connection and understanding. The United in Diversity Festival was not just an event, it was a movement. And she was determined to continue this journey, helping to build a more inclusive and fair future. After the success of the United in Diversity Festival, the energy in the community continued to vibrate. The sense of unity and hope did not dissipate. On the contrary, it seemed to have intensified. Anna and her group realized that they had created a powerful movement, and the will to continue this fight was present on every corner. Anna decided it was time to take the initiative a step further. With the help of Mariana and other community leaders, she began planning a series of workshops that would cover topics such as empowerment, leadership skills, and the importance of inclusion. The idea was to further strengthen the bonds between the diverse communities and provide tools for everyone to become agents of change in their own lives. The first meeting to plan the workshops was marked by palpable optimism. Everyone was excited to share ideas and get involved in creating the content. Anna was impressed by the variety of skills and experiences each member brought to the table. From teachers to artists, each had something unique to offer. "We need something that brings all groups together, but also addresses the specific needs of each community," Mariana said as they discussed workshop guidelines. "How about we start with a leadership workshop? That would help people feel more empowered." Anna agreed, and the idea quickly caught on. The workshops would be held in different locations, ensuring that everyone had access. The first workshop was scheduled for the following month, and the enthusiasm in the room was contagious. As the day of the workshop approached, Anna felt nervous but also excited. She knew it was an opportunity not only to teach, but to learn from those who would come. On the morning of the event, the venue was packed with people, each bringing their own hopes and dreams. The workshop began with Anna introducing herself and sharing her own journey. She spoke about the challenges she had faced, such as the protests she had attended and the importance of never giving up. The life stories and experiences of the people in the room were impressive, and Anna realized that there were not only those in the room seeking to learn, but also those who wanted to share their stories. The workshop involved discussion groups, where people were encouraged to share their aspirations and the barriers they faced. Anna found herself moved when she heard the participants' stories, each one more powerful than the last. There were stories of overcoming, pain, and, above all, resilience. During one of the discussions, an elderly woman stood up and spoke about how difficult it had been for her to find her place in a society that often didn't listen to her. "I've always felt invisible," she said, tears in her eyes. "But today, hearing all of your stories, I feel like I can finally be seen." This statement echoed around the room, and the atmosphere changed. The emotional connection that formed was palpable. Anna felt like she was making a difference, and more importantly, people were coming together for a common cause. Each workshop became a safe space for everyone to express themselves, and Anna knew that was exactly what they needed. As the months passed, the workshops became a regular part of the community routine. People began signing up to actively participate and bring their own ideas. Anna and Mariana were continually amazed at the creativity and passion that emerged. It was as if a new wave of energy was sweeping through the community, allowing previously silenced voices to be heard and celebrated. As Anna observed all of this, she realized that with each workshop, not only were individuals becoming stronger, but the community as a whole was transforming. Every story shared, every laugh, and every tear became part of a rich and diverse tapestry that reflected the essence of their struggle. However, not everything was easy. Anna knew that resistance still existed. Some members of the community continued to oppose the changes and the fight for justice. There were rumors of a group that was organizing to boycott the activities of Anna and her colleagues. The fear of reprisals began to haunt everyone. One night, while talking to Mariana about what could be done, Anna felt lost. "We need to protect ourselves, but we can't let fear paralyze us. We need to be even bolder, to show that we are here to stay," Mariana suggested, her voice firm and resolute. Anna agreed, and together they decided that the best way to deal with resistance would be to continue to promote inclusion and understanding, not only through workshops, but also through engagement events with opponents. If they could sit down and talk, perhaps they could turn distrust into dialogue. With this new strategy, Anna felt a new flame of hope ignite within her. Although the road ahead was still long and full of obstacles, she was more determined than ever to fight for inclusion and justice. What had started as an individual struggle had turned into a collective movement, and Anna knew that together, they could conquer any challenge that lay ahead. As Anna's workshops and events continued to thrive, resistance to the change began to manifest itself in a more organized manner. Hateful messages began to appear on social media, and rumors about voices of hope spread throughout the community. Some people claimed the movement was dividing the city, while others called Anna and her allies instigators. The situation culminated in an incident at one of the workshops, when a group of opponents decided to invade the event. Anna was giving a presentation on leadership and empowerment when a man stood up, shouting that what they were doing was an attack on the true culture of the community. The moment was shocking. The people in the room went silent, and Anna felt her heart race. "What we're doing here is celebrating diversity and finding strength in our differences," Anna replied, trying to remain calm. "Each of us has the right to be heard and respected." The man continued to shout, and the tension in the room increased. But before the situation could escalate, Mariana stood up and addressed the man. In a calm but firm voice, she said, "Instead of yelling, how about we sit down and talk? We can find common ground if we are willing to listen to each other." Mariana's proposal surprised everyone, including the man. He hesitated, but when he saw the determination in her eyes, he finally said nothing. The atmosphere was still tense, but Mariana had planted the seed of dialogue. Anna saw an opportunity and asked everyone to sit in a circle. She proposed an open conversation where everyone could express their concerns without interruption. With the support of the audience, the man reluctantly agreed and joined the circle. What followed was an intense but necessary discussion. As voices grew louder, it became clear that many of the opponents were motivated by fear. They felt their identities and traditions were being threatened. Anna and Mariana listened attentively, offering empathy and understanding. A woman in the audience stood up and shared her story. "I grew up being told not to blend in," she said, her voice shaking. "But my daughter is learning about diversity in school, and she doesn't understand why there is this division. It makes me question everything I ever thought." Anna saw the woman as a bridge between the two sides. "What you're saying is crucial. Younger generations have the ability to shape a different future. If we can understand the importance of teaching empathy and inclusion, perhaps we can build a stronger community." The conversation continued, and Anna realized that behind the resistance was a sincere desire to protect what many considered the community's cultural identity. With this in mind, Anna made a proposal. "How about we organize an event that showcases the traditions and cultures of all the groups present? That way, we can learn from each other." The idea surprised everyone. After some debate, many began to see the potential of this approach. The man who had started shouting was now involved in the discussion, proposing ideas on how they could incorporate different traditions into the event. The dialogue, although intense, became a space for mutual learning. Anna and Mariana saw the transformation happening before their eyes. Resistance did not disappear completely, but it was beginning to be challenged through conversation and empathy. After the workshop, Anna and Mariana reflected on what had happened. They understood that real change would not come from external actions alone, but also from the community's internal dialogue. They were determined to continue this journey, to work side by side with those who initially opposed it, showing that inclusion could be beneficial for everyone. Over the next few days, the mood gradually began to change. Although there were still voices of resistance, people began to open up to the idea of collaboration. Anna realized that by engaging opposing voices, they could turn resistance into allies. Anna and Mariana decided that the next event should be a true reflection of the diversity of the community and began planning a large cultural festival that would celebrate everyone's traditions. This new approach would not only bring the different groups together, but would also show that the strength of the community lay in its diversity. As the weeks passed, anticipation grew. The event became an opportunity for everyone to come together, talk, and learn. Anna was excited and anxious, but also aware that there would still be challenges to be faced. The festival promised to be a vibrant celebration, but Anna knew there was still work to be done to ensure the event was truly inclusive. With everyone's help, Anna was determined to transform the resistance into a movement of unity where every voice could be heard and respected.